Getting ready to pour in a few days. Pretty much the lintels are ready. This here is a T-wall. I'll go with the scaffold here in a minute and show you what that means. Basically, part of the block is removed, so you gotta reinforce the outside. Scaffolds are ready, anchored to the ground. Walls have been straightened and plumbed. All the rebar is in. These row of half blocks on the top, that are only the outside. The inside will be the roof panels on the concrete. Between the 10 inches of foam on the roof and the 4 to 6 inches of concrete, that 16-inch block is about right. That cutout is for the porch. The way the designer did it, it's a little bit higher than the inside. And then this side with some rebar sticking out, that's the parapet wall for the main house. So doing a quick, so the engineer specified a lot of rebar. He did confess he did not do a lot of these, so he played it safe. So the lintels, if we're looking here, there's about every 16 inches there's a stirrup of 3/8 rebar. That's about twice as many as your typical lintel on Fox block. The whole lintel ends up being about 24 inches, so it should be plenty strong to hold a concrete roof. I did some color coding for the concrete crew. They're not experienced on ICF, so that's a way of letting them know that red is danger. Don't put the vibrator and don't put the concrete hose in there. Orange is be careful. So the corners, red, danger. Green, start filling on green. Once all the greens are done in a section, come back, do the orange, and then fill your reds from the orange. But everything is brazed. Everything it's pretty much ready. The columns are brazed as well. So moving toward one of the T-walls, also it's not standard in home construction to even have a handrail, so going above and beyond. Plus I don't want to fall down, so if I don't want to fall down, I shouldn't ask anybody to risk falling down when doing work. Just simple common sense. So we got some strings to make sure that things stay straight. So this is the T-wall. This is the danger zone. So you can see the inside of the block has been cut off, which then leaves the outside weakened. I could tell even before I finished that it was kind of developing a little bit of a hump, so that's why I got reinforced on the outside. Fox Blocks does sell a T-block, but it's about 3 to 5 times more expensive per block than just straight blocks, so that's why a lot of people recommended doing that. But then you got to do a lot of reinforcing of this corner. That's the rest of the scaffold. These house ended up with a lot of lintels that made it a challenge, probably more challenging than your typical house. I think in hindsight I should have combined more lintels and made it easier, because definitely I got spans 16 foot long on the garage, so that should have been fine on the main house, and just combine those lintels and then just close off the walls with wood once it was finished. So going back down, there's a lot of strapping. It's very important that your blocks don't shift out. That's why you put these little pieces of wood. It don't have to be super strong. It's just making sure that it don't blow out. My understanding, if your Fox block stiffener is really far from the edge, like more than 4 inches, you really need them. But being my first pour, I played safe. This is a T-wall here too. It's more or less could have been done with a corner, but because I was gonna put a door it made more sense to have the backside of the door concrete instead of just foam. Everything it's secured to the ground with either tack combs or dropping anchors. The interior walls, there's quite a few lintels, some design changes, like this opening. It's mainly gonna be for the refrigerator on the other side to be inset in the wall. Utility room, and then back here, the original design, step back a little bit. The original design would have multiple small walls, like one small wall here for a door to a bathroom, and then a little wall over here for a closet, and then another little wall for the door jamb. And that every lintel in ICF, it's hours and hours of putting blocks, putting the big 2x12 and blocking, a lot of work, so it made more sense to consolidate them. Here is the back wall of the shower, and I built a pocket for the mixing valve. The main reason why I wanted to build a pocket for the mixing valve is it will break eventually, so you want to leave it accessible from the backside, and that's one feature of every faucet of this house, is that it's gonna have access from the backside, either because it's in a closet, or the room behind. I'll probably leave like a little door for it, because there's no if they will break eventually. And there's just a lot of little penetrations left through the house, like that one will be for running wire out. There's another one down there that is going to be a drain in case the bathroom floods. There's a way for the water to make it out. When your walls are not an exact dimension within 4 foot, you need to have a seam, and seams just get filled with foam, and you put a piece of wood on every row to get them to not split open. We'll head to the outside on this wall for a minute, because when you got a short corner with Fox blocks, you gotta be careful not to blow it out when you pour it. And I'm pouring that one Wednesday. This wall here was very skinny, so I put some extra reinforcement, because there's only one plastic stiffener on the inside. Those are normally behind the Fox block logo every 8 inches, so when you only have one, it's kind of a weak wall. I'm holding on to the scrap blocks because I might need them. So far, I believe there's about 600 blocks installed. I got probably another 100 more in the 2 rows I got left. Heading to the back porch now. Again, concrete is heavy. Put a lot of bracing through the doors. And same thing on the short walls. Made more sense to just strap the whole thing. The biggest opening is back here. It wasn't necessarily designed this way, but the foundation crew stopped the ledge at the edge, and I didn't notice that. And having that ledge was gonna make it really hard to make it on ICF, so we decided let's just have one big opening and figure out toward completion of the house how we want to close the opening. Being 11 inches thick, we could make it out of 2x6s and also make it as windproof as we want, or we could make it one big opening. So it just lends for more flexibility in the future on the garage. The extra insurance on the molds with some straps to make sure that they don't split open. Here we got the fresh air intake. I got a couple of 6-inch ducts for the fresh air of the house, as required by code. And again, just a lot of penetrations for different things, drains out of the utility room, just general drains out of the house. And this corner is what is also known as a short corner. And this is not really the short side. It's just that when concrete gets put on this side, it's gonna come down, and when it hits the bottom, it's gonna try to go 90 degrees. Well, you wanna do that away from the corner so it can start building like a nice ramp of concrete, so we don't put too much pressure that way and blow the mold out. Well, we don't have quite 4 feet on this one, and there's an even shorter one on the garage, so it's very important to put more wood on these corners that are short. For example, if we look at a regular corner that has no obstructions, the way it's gonna get poured, you get away from it 3-4 feet and you start at the middle and you move this way and you start building a nice level of concrete. That way it doesn't hit it 90 degrees and try to blow the sides out. And Fox block shows here, it's kind of hard to see on the dirty block, but there's basically, this shows you on the inside that where there's a big plastic web to get it hold together. And just in abundance of caution, same thing, it's a lot easier to just put some more pieces of plywood down and hold everything together than be shoveling concrete out of the ground. So the columns are 2x2. They were L-shaped. I elected to just make them square just to make the whole process of building them a lot easier. And then the last corner I want to show you guys is this other short corner, which is really, if there's a piece here in danger of blowing out, is this one here. Same reason, you know, we're going to be putting the concrete here. It's going to hit and it's going to try to fill the cavity really quick in that direction, and that's going to put a lot of pressure on the outside of the mold until we can have it full. Ideally, you will try to fill it first on this side and this side here, get you a nice level of concrete, maybe even get a little bit of the corner, so when this other one hits close, got some dampening from the existing concrete mass. But this is how the house looks just before it gets poured. Just a lot of strapping to make sure that the molds don't blow out. Some of the wood is new, some of the wood is scrap. That's one of the great things about ICF, is that there's not a whole lot of waste. You can reuse a lot of the wood. But this is how a house typically looks just before you pour. Just making sure that you got everything tied down and any big gaps foamed up, and we should be ready for Wednesday.